Now we will discuss the male animal infertility. Okay, first, our overview for this topic is on the causes of male reproductive failure. And then for the male infertility, which was already given as an overview to you from the last topic, what is the difference between infertility and sterility. So for this male animal, we will be also discussing the general causes and then the functional causes as subtopic to this male infertility topic. Okay, this slide has already been shown to you from the last topic, no? And this is just to show you again or to emphasize, no, that in the process of procreation, if the animal is um, able to procreate, so that means that the animal is fertile, there is no problem in the reproductive system of the animal. And if the animal is not um, unable to procreate, then either this animal, if it is in a temporary state of inability to reproduce, or it is on a permanent state of inability to reproduce. On another note, no, we have the term fecundity as a term to use to denote the number of young produced. So let's say we have several farm animals that has high fecundity over the others, such as the sow, as compared to the mares and to the cow. There are several causes of the male reproductive failure, and we start with the environment. No, maybe it was already mentioned to you, you read it before or you heard it before, that the spermatozoa of coming from the male is very sensitive to slight changes of temperature, and that is part of the environment. We see that as number two. And another one, no, this doesn't really come like listed in importance, no, but just randomly, no, we have nutrition. Basically, if the male animal is not of the proper BCS, we cannot expect, no, that the quality of the spermatozoa to be given off from this male animal would also be of good quality or top quality. Okay, so definitely the animal should be healthy with a proper body condition score, obtaining the optimum weight according to the age of that male animal. Okay, so now I skip on the temperature because I already mentioned something about that. And then infections. So as preempted with nutrition, the animal should be healthy. And if experiencing, no, even just fever, because the fever will increase the body, so then it will kill some of the spermatozoa. So the ejaculate coming from the sick animal will not be of top quality, no? So even as simple as fever of general infection. So much more if this animal is infected with a disease that brucellosis, no? So then the quality of the spermatozoa is very questionable. Number 4, hormonal, okay? I am actually patient. No, this is an off-sign patient because this is a top quality buck that is residing in Palawan right now. So there is no way for me to test for the hormone levels of this patient here in the Philippines. No, that is quite unfortunate, but I just base it on the clinical signs being given by the patient. So for about 4 months now, I am monitoring my back patient in Palawan in terms of um, um, the possibility to impregnate the his herd mates, no? Just assume that there is a problem with the hormones. That is why um there had been a problem of not necessarily on the libido of the back, but of its ability to ejaculate, no? And it's responding with the hormonal treatment that I have subscribed to this patient. So we can just assume that he was suffering from hormonal imbalance months before, no? So this also affects the reproductive system of the animal. And not only in that particular case, but it could also be, let's say, when we subject our animals to pasture or to grain that has been contaminated with fungus and has high levels of estrogen. So that is also something of the environmental type or cause leading to the male reproductive failure. Next major topic would be on the genetics, okay? And this is quite obvious, no, especially on the congenital part. If the animal or the patient was born stunted or was born with only one testicles, no, and the other one is did not descend properly coming from the abdomen, no? So that's a cryptorchid or monorchid if it's just one, no. So very big factor, no? Genetics play a very big factor if the animal with inflammatory reproductive failure. And aside from the general, no, congenital genetics that we factor in, there could also be some aberrations or abnormalities chromosome level, okay, of the animal. And this does not happen right after birth, and this could develop over time while the animal is aging or growing up. Specifically on in nutrition, no, as discussed earlier, it's very important that the body condition score is at least normal, no, and the BCS that we're aiming in a scale of 1 is BCS number 3 or up to BCS 3.25. Okay, we also don't want them to be overly managed, no, or obese. So we just want it to remain at that sweet spot of BCS 3 to 3.25. Very important in terms of fertility, not only for the male, but also for the female counterpart would be vitamin A and E, okay? That's why, as a recommendation, I would always teach my client farms to provide, okay, either oral or injectable vitamin A, D, E on a monthly basis, starting when the animal has reached its breedable age, okay? Whatever the animal is, no? If you're really up into breeding the stock, okay? And other macrominerals, these are just, trace minerals, but as important also as vitamin A and E. Now we have cobalt, we have iron, phosphorus, manganese, iodine, copper, and calcium, okay? And this, definitely no, when, like, for example, when we have calcium, iron, cobalt, these, and iodine, these are important macrominerals or trace minerals that are needed in terms of pregnancy and on the fetal development, no? And when the female counterpart, no, becomes pregnant, it's important that they would also have this optimum amount of these trace minerals in their system, in their blood, so that it would help in the proper development of the fetus. No, so also important trace minerals on the male counterpart so that there would be healthy spermatozoa that would be given off to fertilize the egg coming from the female animal. Okay. Next we have the infection. So these are general clinical signs and some specific reproductive diseases that would cause the male reproductive failure. No? So we have general clinical signs such as arthritis, which is inflammation of the penis. Then we have testicular degeneration, phimosis, paraphimosis, seminal vesiculitis, which can be present in brucellosis, no? So you have specific diseases here as well, such as your IBR, IPV, no? So that's mostly prominent with cattle. What's amazing, no? For me, I find it amazing with IBR-IPV is it's a well-rounded disease because it doesn't really focus much on the reproductive system alone. It also has implications on the respiratory system, no? So multifaceted siya. So if you're a disease, you're well-rounded, kumbaga, no? But we don't want them to be like that. Pero yan, that's the nature. So don't focus only on the effect on one system alone, but it also has signs to be given of affecting the respiratory system. Okay. So other than that, so we have brucellosis, trichomoniasis, vibriosis. Now, these are your common reproductive diseases. Then, of course, we have our arthritis, which can be part of your vibriosis brucellosis. You also have tumors, then prostatitis, which can also be because of a tumor or because of brucellosis. Okay. Now, lastly, on the environmental reproductive cause of reproductive failure, no, one common that is also shared with the female counterpart is with the presence of tumors. And these tumors, no, they would be expelling or giving off high amounts of hormones in abnormal levels, no, that will alter the whole system, no, whole physiology, reproductive physiology of the male animal, which could lead to the male reproductive failure. Okay? So yun na yung testicular. So ano na lang siya, it just differs on the location where you can find the tumors. It could be in the testicles, it could be on the anterior pituitary, and it could be on the hypothalamus. And then this prostatitis, no, yung ano yun, positive feedback, no, if you can remember your Fisher tree, positive feedback, prostatitis hyperplasia, it keeps on producing prostate cells. So that's why it now leads to hyperplasia. So kung normal, there's negative feedback. If there's any excess, it will already stop producing. But in this case, no, it keeps on producing. Kaya nagkaroon ngayon ng hyperplasia. Okay, so all of these are what would cause the hormonal factor under the environmental cause of reproductive failure. Okay, now on the general male infertility, no, so if you can remember, meron tayong general causes and then meron pa tayong genetic, ganun. So here we go to physiology, and then we have yung mga hormones na. So the types of male infertility that can be exhibited if it affects the neural and the neuroendocrine system would be erectile disorder, ejaculation disorder, or okay? If only on hormones alone, so it could be deficiency in the luteinizing hormone, or it could be abnormally low levels of testosterone. And externally, you can see in the testicles, it could be cryptorchidism. So this would be underdeveloped testicles because they did not descend on the proper time, so they remain in the abdomen. So this could be unilateral or bilateral. Okay, so if it's bilateral, we can expect the animal is sterile. But if it's unilateral, the descended testis is still functional, although we don't want this particular male to propagate his genes, no, because we don't want any cryptorchids in our herd or flock. Okay, so another thing is it could be hypoplasia, testicular hypoplasia. It could be both, it could be just one. So but commonly what I see in the field is just one. So one is abnormally smaller than one beside it. Number 3 is degeneration. Over time, the testicles would be shrinking, no, it's dying. Ayan, because of probably an infection, or it could be trauma, no? So that did not heal properly. And then number 4, quite related to what I just said, is trauma, no? So testicular trauma. In figure 1, we see preputial trauma, no? And because of no probably no not the healing of any parts of the male reproductive system that has been managed, if it has not healed properly, definitely there would be infertility, no? And infertility is just temporary inability for the male animal to procreate. So hopefully over time this will be addressed, and so the animal can still be used to breed the female animals, no? Especially if the patient is of high value. So most of the owners do not really give up on them easily, no? Especially if they have invested heavily on this particular breeding animal. Okay, in addition to that, no, so yung seminal on the quality of the spermatozoa of the semen, no, so there can also be spermatogenesis disorders. So over time, yung growth or development of the sperm, no, there's a problem with that. So it's not maturing properly. And then number two, sperm defects. It has matured, although there are problems in the conformity of the sperm. Number three, the sperm have matured, but they are not as mobile as they should be. No, so with the um, laboratory exercise 5 that we have done, di ba? Improper temperature, improper storage, no, there's a lot of problem with the sperm immobility already. A lot would uh, a lot already died. And the optimum mobility that we want is actually 90%. So talagang very, very, very fast, rigorous circular motion that you should see, no, if the the semen straws have been stored and transported in the proper temperature, okay, and thawed in the proper way. Okay, the fourth one is an anti-sperm antibody. This is just rare, no? So it could be that the spermatozoa has this anti-sperm, so then it's killing itself, and then or the egg is not accepting the sperm because it has anti-sperm antibody as well. So infertility happens kasi there's no compatibility between the sperm and then the egg, okay? So no pregnancy will happen. Next on the accessory glands. So nag-start, di ba natapos tayo sa testicular, then we went like for micro, which is on the semen itself, and then we go again to the like macro again to discuss the accessory glands. So it could be depending on the animal, no, because not everybody has the Cooper's gland, no, not everybody has the bulbourethral gland. So, but if you should, I mean, that animal should have it, pero it doesn't have it, no, so it could be like that, and it's affecting the quality of the nutrition, no, the supplements that should be given, or the lubricant that should be part of the spermatozoa, no. So you have these things deficient, it affects the quality of the spermatozoa. And then it could also be that there's trauma in the prostate, it affects the amount, okay, of the proteins being produced to nourish the spermatozoa, yung mga ganon. So then, not of the top quality yung sperm that's going to be given off by the animal in order, I mean, for it to be able to impregnate the female animal. Okay? And it could be also infection dun sa prostate, no? So we have prostatitis. Ayan.
You may check the search results I found online.
Ayan. So it could be that as well. So on figure 2, we have some normal and abnormal sperm, no? So yung normal is the figure at the middle. This is coming from a bull, no? So ganyan yung conformation ng spermatozoa ng bull, which is just the same with carabaos, no? Of which that's the sample that we have examined in our laboratory exercise 5, okay? So your ABC, so you see it, no, obviously abnormal because of the coiled tail, no tail, vacuoles, no? So yan yung mga common problems that you can see. There are actually a lot more abnormalities, no? Conformational abnormalities in the sperm from what's you're seeing now. And I'm sure they have been discussed to you during the laboratory exercise 5. Okay, this slide is just to give you a review of your embryology, di ba? From that course, you have learned that the male reproductive tract, no, would start with yung ano yun, underdeveloped Wolffian mesonephric duct, and then eventually it will differentiate to form the different parts of the male reproductive tract. And so on with the female counterpart, no? It starts with the Mullerian parent mesonephric duct until it differentiates to be the different parts of the female reproductive system. So now we go to the functional causes of infertility. So it could be on the congenital malformations. The Wolffian ducts are not complete. No, I mean the length is not of the appropriate size. So one segment is missing or a huge part could be missing. That's why it's short. So if the Wolffian ducts are not complete, so we can expect that there would be underdeveloped whatever main glands or accessory glands of the male reproductive tract going forward, right? Okay, next, another malformation is cryptorchidism. Okay, I have already explained that earlier. And then on letter B, we also have ejaculatory disturbances. It could be lack of libido, copulatory failure, testicular hypoplasia, phimosis, diphallus, phallocalcis, and sperm cell defects. So on figure 4, tama ba? Figure 4 yan. We have diphallus. So there are 2 types of penises, but it doesn't mean na there would be increased ability to impregnate. No, it doesn't hindi siya directly proportional. Okay, so you still look into the quality of the sperm that's being expelled by this animal. So this is coming from a cow. So far, I have not seen or I have not handled any male patient having this type of disorder. So yung mga lack of libido, this can be addressed with vitamin E supplementation, hormonal supplementation, and it could be rearrangement of, sabi ng mentor ko, I have a American-German mentor who was advising me because I used to operate a semen collection center, Cattle Semen Collection Center. And sometimes I really have problem bulls, no? Like lack of libido, ganun. So he was telling me that maybe you just have to rearrange the furniture, maybe you have to rearrange the pairing, no? Kasi with our operations, we are not using any female teasers. So they are mounting themselves. No? All the bulls are mounting themselves. And that's a common practice all over the world. No? In Thailand, in the United States, New Zealand, Australia, ganyan UK. It's an expense to maintain a female teaser pump. So they would just be mounting themselves. So sometimes you see some good genetic quality sana, pero lack of libido. So you have to rearrange. So it doesn't necessarily have to be treatment all the time. Sometimes it's just a change in how you do things, management lang, no? Or yun nga, you do your semen processing earlier in the morning when it's a lot cooler, no, rather than when you can already see the sun setting, ano ba yun, yung early morning, nabala na ako. Early morning, so it's getting hot, so they don't want that, no? So you arrange the time, you arrange the handler, no? Maybe, no, nagkakaroon siya ng more more affection on a certain type of handler, parang ganon. So you can also do that to address this lack of libido, no? So yan. But on the others, sperm cell defects, it depends. Sometimes this can be treated with vitamin E supplementation, sometimes also with hormones. Pero yung mga parang conformational, no, like diphallus, mahirap na yun. We really don't have, it's not necessary to remove the secondary penis, no. Wala na. Parang, na lang talaga. There will just be difficulty in intromission Kasi syempre, baka masyado nagbubungguan yung dalawang penis, hindi siya makapasok na maayos dun sa vulva. So then, if you see this type of animal, X na siya, hindi na talaga siya pregnant breeder, no? So it also leads to, yun na, infertility kasi hindi siya nakakapag-copulate ng maayos, okay? So dun sa phimosis, it could be there's an infection, so you investigate for that. It could be swelling, no, inflammation, so you address that. It could be also low nutrition, so you check, you may supplement, parang ganun. Okay, so you also have to look into underlying matter, what's causing these ejaculatory disturbances. And the frustrating part when dealing with such infertility is the time, the time you have to commit to really address the problem because it could reach up to 6 months, no? So we have to manage and we have to treat these patients continuously, no? Every 3 days, if that's the need, implementation every week. Pero it's like 1 month, it sometimes you still don't see any improvement. So you just continue with it because it really takes up to 6 months before they really get well. So let me go back with my back patient. We did the hormonal treatment. Graciously, after 2 weeks, there's already exponential improvement because the problem with this back, it has the libido, but it's not protruding its penis as it should be before, no? So this was not a first time either. So he was breeding several of the dose. And up to some time that probably he got tired, so that's why we're having this problem. So 2 weeks after the hormonal treatment, no, it's already the penis is starting to go out, no, so nagkakaroon na siya ng activity. But up to now, we're already on the 4th month, no. It's it can already ejaculate, but we still don't know if the quality of the semen is good enough to impregnate. So that's the last stage for me to declare that the patient is already successfully treated and recovered from the disorder, no? So ganun katagal, no? We're already on the 4th month and going to the 5th month. So just don't fret, and it's something that you have to inform your client to really be patient, and this type of disorders or diseases really takes time before they are fully recovered from it. Okay, so to go further, so we have this fertilization failure, which we can also call as impotentia generandi. And this could be diseases of the testicles and accessory glands, which the common ones I have already mentioned earlier. Then we have changes in the temperature, such as heat stress, no? So over the past few days, there has been, record high of our environmental temperatures at 48 degrees Celsius. And we can also expect that it's also affecting the fertility of our animals. So usually in a year cycle, it's during the summer months that we have really low pregnancy rates. That's expected, no? Here in a tropical country like ours. So if you wanna go around, no, circumvent from that problem, so you have to invest mechanically, like put them in, install ventilating fans, install showers, no, so that they can cool down. Because we also don't want to live off our farm, just, accepting that during summer months, it's always like this, that we have this low fertility, no? So if you're that proactive veterinarian manager, and then you have to work it out with your client to really address the heat stress so that you would have stable pregnancy rates all throughout the year. That's the best, no? That's how you manage reproductive or a breeding farm, okay? So other than the environment, it could also be management, no? So yung mga na mention ko kanina na nutrition, it could be poor living conditions, they're very muddy, they're overcrowded, no? So these are, common, you would think like common sense lang na mga factors, but indeed, no, even if they are understated, they are a very important factors that could lead to fertilization failure. Okay. The fourth one would be immunologic factors, which could be yung J antigen, and that's quite similar with what was mentioned earlier, which was the anti-sperm antibody. No, so yung mga innate factors in the sperm that would enable it not to fertilize the egg properly. Okay. Okay, to be more specific, and some of the terms here have already been shown earlier, diba? So you have your diseases of the testicles and accessory glands. So on the testicles, we have the cryptorchidism, also hernia. For hernia, we have types. On the reproductive, no? There are 3 types of hernia. Merong abdominal, umbilical, inguinal, scrotal. But for reproductive process, we focus on the 2 types only, which is inguinal and then scrotal. Okay? So yung umbilical, hindi siya kasama when we talk about reproductive system. So yung inguinal, it could be nag-weaken yung inguinal ring. So instead of dapat medyo pa-close siya, hindi siya properly nag-close, or even yung sphincter niya nag-loosen up, so lumaki yung hole. That's why you have your testicles, you have your hernia, yung testicles coming out, no? So yung pinaka mas severe type of hernia pa dyan is even the abdominal contents will be coming out together with the testicles, no? So that can affect the nutrition and the body condition of the animal. Yung sa scrotal naman, supposedly, yung muscles doon, parang nag-open siya. So, doon naman lumabas. Okay? Yung testicles. Both are undesirable. And although the animal can still live, over time, you can see that the animal can become and definitely the capacity to impregnate is affected, no? Kasi yung normal passage of the spermatozoa is affected, the development of the testicles would be affected, yung mga ganon. Marami yan, domino effect, okay? Next, orchitis. So, na-mention na din to, inflammation of the testicles. So, definitely, if it's inflamed, it's hot. If it's hot, okay, the spermatozoa will be cooked. So, wala. No, the quantity and the quality is compromised. And then, same is epididymitis, so inflammation in all parts of the male reproductive tract, no, that affects the quality of the sperm. So, testicles, itself, no, it could be calcification, pwedeng nagkaroon ng trauma, then nag-scar tissue, so pangit na, no? Hindi na yung normal tissue that would enable spermatogenesis, okay? Na-mention na din kanina, hypoplasia, pwedeng genetic, no? Genetic cause, yung hypoplasia, or it could also be because of a disease, no? So yung fibrosis, medyo similar dun sa calcification, it could be because of no? Tapos then we have our tumors also, and then because of a disease, later the testicles can degenerate. So you can realize, no, as early as now in this lecture, that they are just, intertwined. So hindi stand alone yung isang disorder. Connected din siya with the other causes of the failure or infertility of the male reproductive system. Okay. So this is to show you, although itong, number 5, spermatocele on the right testicle of the bull. Spermatocele is a different kind of disorder. So meron siyang abnormal duct, or in this case, hindi siya duct kasi pag duct, siya line, para siyang tissue na. Tissue na lang yung sabihin natin, spermatocele, where there is abnormal accumulation of fluid or abnormal air, no? Right there in the epididymis, no? So it could be, and that is affecting, no, the passage of the spermatozoa, right in time for an ejaculation. Okay. So this was already shown to you earlier if there's a missing part in the segment of the Wolffian duct. So the animal would become infertile. Okay, and then especially in cattle, no, if you have this total absence of the epididymis, so definitely that could lead to sterility of the animal. Okay, so ito sperm-filled cavity, parang meron, commonly it's water, no? Tapos sometimes it could be air. So depende sa type of seal. Basta yung seal, it's an abnormal, it's a hollow organ. Yeah, hollow organ. Where some fluid or air, or in this case, pwedeng sperm, nandun sa loob ng seal na yun. But definitely, it's an abnormal thing. Another congenital malformation is the cryptorchidism. So we have an example here coming from Buckling. So monorchid, kasi you can only see the left testicle and the right testicle did not descend, no, coming from the abdomen. And this is more common in swine and horses rather than in ruminants. But yeah, as you can see in the figure, we see some in the ruminants from time to time. So for horses, this is a dominant gene that can be transferred, no, to the offspring in every generation, no, dominant gene. That's why when we see a cryptorchid, a monorchid horse, we castrate, no, the descendant testicle because we don't want this particular horse to propagate its genes, because it will really transfer the cryptorchid gene to the offspring, to the male foal, no, to the ano yun, offspring niya na male in every time magsasire siya. Okay? For the other animals, fortunately, it's just a recessive gene, so sometimes it shows. For the swine, no, sometimes they have a litter of 14. So not all of the male piglets would be cryptorchid, no? Some would be fine, and probably a few would be cryptorchid. And sometimes it would show in 1 liter, sometimes it would not, no? Because it's just recessive. And it same goes with the ruminants, okay? If you have both testicles remaining in the abdominal cavity, so as mentioned earlier, this would lead to sterility of the animal. So you can only use that for production purposes. So papatabain mo siya and then ikakatay mo. But you cannot really expect it to really attain the proper average daily gain, no, and to be that bulky, because that animal will not exhibit its male sexual characteristics, no, because nga testosterone is not going to be produced kasi nga yung testicles did not descend. So wala, parang ano lang siya talaga, parang magiging female ang dating niya, no, in terms of the body size, no, it would not be as stocky. Okay. For the unilateral, your quantity of your sperm will be affected kasi supposedly 2 factories are working, but the other one did not open at all, no? Isa lang. The quality may not be affected, but like I mentioned, we do not propagate cryptorchid animals, even if unilateral. Okay, next is the testicular hypoplasia. In figure 7, you can see the obvious hypoplasia of the left testicle, no? Sometimes, no, in the field, you can see for both bucks, rams, and carabus and bulls, no? These are the ruminants that has pendulous testicles, no? Sometimes they're not entirely equal in size and length. A little bit smaller yung isa. That's fine, no? Kasi I really see some bucks, no, and bulls of really exceptional pedigree. Pero yung testicles nila hindi completely pantay, but they are performing, no? So do not disqualify a breeder if there's just this very slight discrepancy in the equal distribution of the testicles. Pero as compared to that, we have here in figure 7, very obvious that there is hypoplasia on the left. So pag ganito, unquestionable na yan. Not be a breeder. Okay? Okay, so meron tayong breed predilection for this testicular hypoplasia. And this could be commonly seen as Swedish Highland cattle. So these are white cattle you see in the highlands in Sweden. So malayo naman tayo sa kanila, so we don't have that. And then we do not infuse also this kind of breed in our local herd. So hindi tayo nag-import ng similia, mga ganon. We do not import live animals of this particular breed to infuse in our Philippine cattle herd, no? So we don't have this problem so far. But for this particular breed, no, this testicular hypoplasia is an autosomal recessive gene with incomplete penetrance. So this just means na sometimes it appears, sometimes it does not. So yung incomplete penetrance, it skips one generation. So probably the lolo, no, was able, the lolo had some brothers with testicular hypoplasia, and then it did not show in the son, but it may show in the grandsons. Okay, so yan yung incomplete penetrance. When you do histopathology of this hypoplatic testicles, you can expect, no, that there is low number of spermatogonia. So these are your underdeveloped sperm, no, that would eventually be yung mature spermatozoa able to penetrate and fertilize the egg. So yan, and high levels of Sertoli cells. Okay. Next, on the ejaculatory disturbances, no, we have low libido, which can also which is synonymous to the term impotentia coendi. And this could be hereditary, it could be psychogenic, endocrine, and environmental. So, na-mention ko na kanina, I have a very good example na of endocrine. Meron na din on environmental. So, kanina meron din akong example, yung sinabi ng mentor ko na sometimes you just have to rearrange the furniture. So, yan yung psychogenic, no? So, sometimes you have to change the routine. Na, for example, this particular bull, 1, 2, 3, always siya, 5 a.m. sharp, siya yung kinukuhanan ng similia. What if you change it to 5:30? Sometimes maybe you try to change it to 6. It's going to be a trial and error thing actually, no? Kung saan siya medyo, ano ba yan, yung acceptable of the change, no? So, pagka hindi siya, ayaw niya 5:30, so try mo sa 6 or baka mangyang siya sa 6. And sometimes it could be with the pairing. Kunyari, si teaser 1, 2, 3, 4, hindi na type ng crowd. So, gusto pala nila si bull 4, 5, 6, 7 na yung kanilang teaser. So, it could be that, no? Repeated frustration, it could be kasi the bull is not too tall pa as compared to the teaser. So, maybe you just have to interchange, no? And you have to remove any type of distractions. Number 1 is heat. Okay, so kailangan talaga very cool. No unnecessary noises during the semen collection or during if your farm or your client farm is doing natural mating, so walang distraction. Kung talagang puro lalaki lang sila doon, dapat puro lang sila lalaki, walang dadaan na babae, yung mga ganon, no? So yun yung mga psychogenic factors that could lead to ejaculatory disturbances, okay? Next naman, copulatory failure. This is very common, failure to mount because of pilay pala, no? Syempre, the animal should have sturdy musculoskeletal system, no? Hindi dapat fragile. Syempre, without fracture, okay? The area where you would do the natural mating or semen collection, it should be with proper footing, no? It should be dry. We do this non-skid flooring, yung hindi siya smooth, no? Meron siyang mga lines, no? Because that could also improve the footing kasi may friction ka, 'di ba? In our shoes, meron ka ng mga corrugated lines. They are just not designs, but it would help you in your footing para mas may grip yung shoes mo dun sa floor, right? So may ganun din tayong ginagawa sa mga flooring ng ating mating area or breeding corral. It should not be flat and smooth. Dapat talaga siya rough, no? Rough finish and dry all the time. Tapos yun nga yung non-skid design. Number 3, this is very common with small ruminants, no? Very big yung ram or yung ewe. Tapos first time, doling, no? Kawawa naman yung doling. So, sometimes hindi siya, properly fit. So, it could be the pelvic inlet of the female is too small, nahihirapan yung male. It could be the female is too big, tapos immature pa yung, breeding back or ram. So, nahihirapan pa siyang pumunod. No? So, these are actually very common, almost day-to-day encounters that I see whenever I do my rounds, no? Tapos magtatanong sila, ay, hindi bas mga ganun. Mga quite simple lang, pero significant factors that can affect the ejaculation of our breeding animals. Okay, going further, okay, wala na tayong problem sa, let's go back, no? Sa mounting. Kunyari, walang problem sa mounting. Meron palang problem sa intromission. So, kunyari, there's good flooring, there's proper size of the animals. Kaya lang, it's not properly entering, the penis is not properly entering the vulva because it could be may tumor pala, it could be may trauma, it could be bent, it could be inflamed. Yan, yung either yun nga, yung may hematoma, kaya inflamed, venous shunts, kaya inflamed. So there's an obstruction that's making the penis difficult to enter the vulva. So you address this, no, with NSAIDs, could be there's a need to use antibiotics, no. There may be a need to remove the tumor, no. So yan yung mga pwede mong tingnan. And ito nga yung ito nga yung to be specific, this is one of the disorders of the back in Palawan that I'm handling. So, hormonal treatment naman yung naging effective sa kanya. And then, aside from that, another factor that could fail to achieve the intromission is the deviation of the penis. So, we have figure 11 here, a persistent frenulum patient. Persistent because it loitered, no? It prolonged. It shouldn't be like that. Later on, dapat siya straighten up na siya. Kaya lang itong frenulum, hindi siya naputol, hindi siya nag-dislodge, parang gano'n. Kaya ayun, naka-coil tuloy siya ng ganyan para siyang Christmas candy sugar cane, parang gano'n. So gano'n yun ang raro. So definitely, it will be difficult for this to enter the vulva, di ba? Okay, so pwede din na corkscrew deviation, nag-spiral yung kanyang penis, no? We also call that the rainbow penis. And it could be the penis is underdeveloped itself. Next naman is failure to ejaculate. So yung another example also quite similar to the Palawan back that I mentioned earlier. So it's not ejaculating, so it could be, you look into kung may problem sa accessory glands, may problem sa hormones, so may problem sa nutrition, yan. So yan yung mga ways on how to address that ejaculation disorder. Okay, going forward, so on the diseases in testes and accessory glands, this could disturb the spermatogenesis or sperm maturation naturally, no? Na-mention ko na yan kanina. As a sequelae, it could also cause abnormal semen characteristics, so conformational defects. That's quite understandable given na yan. And because of diseases in the accessory glands, kung meron kang prostatitis, so inflamed. So how will the spermatozoa pass through normally? So increased pressure kasi inflamed eh. So ngayon, konti yung lumalabas, no? So the quantity then is affected, okay? And then on fertilization failure, heat stress, no? maluluto yung spermatozoa, so then you will not have any quality sperm to fertilize the egg. Okay, so for breeding techniques, management, it plays a very big role. So it could be that you do not have a trained personnel to do it. You do not have a trained personnel to take care of your animals, no? To do it, ibig sabihin AI or breeding, natural mating, no? So yung synchronization with breeds, these are actually on the female part, no? These are hormone impregnated intravaginal devices, no? Progesterone yan. Intravaginal devices. So hindi tugma yung cycle ng male ay ng female. So hindi mo natama yung timing ng mating. So it could lead to fertilization failure. And on the hormonal part, na-mention ko to early in the lecture, ingestion of estrogenic pastures. So nagbibinabae yung male. So it affects the quality. And then insemination stress, it's because of yung artificial insemination. It takes a long while before the insemination has been performed properly on the female reproductive tract. So then, hindi naging successful yung fertilization of the egg, no? Kasi siguro over manipulation of the female reproductive tract, so that increases, no, expels cortisol. So from your fissure 3, di ba, yung cortisol, it affects also the level of the other reproductive hormones. Okay, and lastly, on the immunologic factors, it could be present in the seminal plasma, sperm mount, or in extender. So yung extender kasi, these are actually your commercial type, commonly no, that we use. Commercial type of extender, baka yung protein na ginamit on the extender is not compatible, or meron pala siyang protein of animal origin. Minsan hindi yun maganda. So that could affect the quality of the sperm, especially if you do artificial insemination. So kung natural mating ka, hindi mo alalahanin itong extender na to. We only use this as part of the semen processing in time for artificial insemination. So meron din tayong autoantigens or isoantigens in the female. So quite similar na, yan na yung letter C, no, anti-sperm antibodies, which kills the sperm, yan. So it fights off the sperm. So ayun yun yung sperm. So paano mag-fertilize without the sperm? And then in relation to the extender in letter A, it could be antibodies kasi proteins ang antibodies, di ba? It could be this type of proteins in the egg yolk and milk that will be part of the extender being used when we do semen processing in time for A. Okay? So, ayan. Tapos na po yung ating lecture, saktong-sakto. Do you have any questions?